Alrighty, what have we here? A bunch of expansions. So the draw is advisor, not terribly strong, but it can work. Villages, there's Royal Carriage, which is a village, and technically Sacrifice is a village, which actually could even be a little bit more than technical here. You trash an action card to it and you get a village effect, which could be relevant because you can easily gain mills, for example, and then sacrifice them, and then you're also scoring 2 points from the victory card aspect. So maybe that comes up. It is not technically draw, however, despite saying +2 cards, because you have to play a sacrifice and kill an action in hand. So you're only breaking even on draw, but you're netting yourself an action. Plus buy doesn't exist except for the one random plus buy knight in the pile. Not something to count on. There is engineer for gains as well as camel train though. Thinning, there's sentinel, quite a strong card. Also sacrifice and bishop. So unfortunately, the knights exist. So probably this kingdom just devolves into play a bunch of knights, and then one person has a deck left and wins. I expect that's where this kingdom is going. Mission also looks probably quite relevant here. Mission gets incredibly strong when there's productive things you can do other than buying something, because it's literally just $4 for an extra turn every turn. Here, you could play Sentinel in your mission turn to thin, you could play Bishop to score, you could gain stuff off of Engineer, exile stuff with Camel Train, you could attack them with Knights, so there's a lot to do on your mission turn. How to open? For sure Sentinel on 3, that seems like a given. The 4, not that clear to me. Mission isn't preposterous, but I don't think it's quite worth it. Got the Baker token, so can consider 5. So I think Baker or Royal Carriage both look reasonable. Engineer, not so bad. Mill would look pretty good if not for the Baker token. Like, the main benefit of Mill is it's really good at getting you to 5, because if you just have anything less than all 3 estates in hand, you can just pitch the estates and get to 5. But we have the coffer, which lets us get to 5. I think I like the Royal Carriage. If you line it up with the Sentinel, you're happy. If you find Royal Carriage turn 3 and Sentinel turn 4, you're still pretty happy. And if you found Sentinel turn 3, you're probably fine anyway. Okay, only 3 here. Gotta take an Engineer. Alright, fortunately the Sentinel did not bottom deck, which is the only truly tragic outcome. And I'm going to take a second Engineer already, and then just pop this one immediately. Probably want to take a non-terminal card, like Mill, for example. And then, I'm going to have a terminal collision next turn, nothing I can do about that. But from here on out, I can call Royal Carriage on Mill or Advisor, which will then let me play both the other Engineer and the Sentinel. I'm going to hold off on rebuying that. Bop, got Dame Natalie. Makes sense. Unfortunately, Dame Josephine looks a lot worse. Think I like calling this just a forward mission. An extra turn is an extra turn. Would I rather trash here or gain here? I think I'm going to go for the 4 coppers. I think is enough to be manageable, and so I can thin them later at this point. Buying mission doesn't do anything here once you already won the mission turn, because you can't take a 3rd turn in a row. But you were technically allowed to buy it. Ouchie. Yeah, don't want to fall behind on the knights. Don't really want Dame Josephine is the worst. Yeah, I think I have to buy Dame Josephine here. Terrible, terrible knight. Definitely the worst knight. But I think if I don't contest the knights, my deck just gets eaten. Sir Martin is a scary knight to leave on top because your opponent ought to have an engineer and they can gain it for free, which is not true of any other knight. Fortunately, the bot is slacking. Needed another village. I need to hit 4. Yeah, bot's got a working deck. They got thin and they're playing a knight. Kind of needs an engineer in that deck, though. Okay. Ooh, interesting choice. They trashed the advisor over Dame Natalie. Can't even say with confidence that that's wrong, just because Dame Natalie is the much better knight than Dame Josephine is. I kind of suspect that it's wrong, though. That was a bit of an unfortunate hand. But fortunately, Dame Josephine is in the bottom. And so Dame Natalie is not long for this world. Sir Merton's actually a pretty good knight to have here. It is not usually the case. Just because I feel like we're going to be stuck in this position of spending every buy on mission forever because mission is just too good not to take. And Sir Martin at least gives you the ability to gain additional cards while doing that. Yeah, like here for example, I can go mission engineer. We can pay off this engineer in the mission turn. I really need to get these last 4 coppers, and I have just been slacking a tad, I think, on deck control, and my deck will be a lot happier once I finally trash those. It's definitely on account of the knights. Had to take. Oh, there we go. Thank you, bot. I felt like I needed to take Dame Josephine early to deal with the bot's knight, And then Sir Martin was a free gain off of Engineer. Alrighty. Mission. Engineer. I'll just get rid of the Sentinel now. Alrighty, I can play 2 of these. Bot only has a copper left in its discard, so Sir Martin is not the answer here. I don't know exactly what I should be clicking here, but I think the game is sufficiently over for it to not matter. The bot doesn't have a deck anymore. Unfortunately, despite the game being long past over, it is not clear how I make the game technically over. Provinces are at 8, and that's not changing anytime soon. And, I mean, maybe I can lower the piles quickly with Engineer. The problem is the bot doesn't resign. The bot needs to resign, because this is a resignable position. Now you could, in theory, get to the point where your deck is something like Bishop, Gold, Gold, Silver, for example, the Bishop Golden deck, where a deck of Bishop, Gold, Gold, Silver, you buy a province, you Bishop the province, you always have exactly 5 cards in deck, and so you're not susceptible to knights. Even that wouldn't make you totally safe, because I think the correct play in response to that would be to dig through the knight pile until you found Sir Michael. Where did Sir Michael go? Sir Michael. And then you could discard attack him. Anyways, I have not put mission yet, right? Yeah, this is the mission turn. This is the non-mission turn, I mean. I'll take another engineer. At this point, it's not even strategic consideration. It's just like, how do I make this game end? The bot has acquired a province. It's it actually has a golden deck now, if you think about it. You don't play the Baker. You could so a deck of Bishop, Royal Carriage, Gold, Gold province. You play the royal carriage, you play the bishop trashing province, you call the royal carriage. Oh no, that doesn't work. Because, yeah, that works. I was thinking it worked a little bit better than it actually does. I was thinking you could call the royal carriage on the bishop trashing nothing, but the golds are not in play yet. It still works alright because you can just call the royal carriage on the bishop and play this way of the sheep. So they just need to trash the baker, and then they can score, what is that, 5 points a turn forever? That's not going to help them at all, but it's nifty. Okay. Finally lowering the piles. Slowly but surely. Let's just take it Sentinel again and deal with this, these last few coppers. And a bishop, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. At this point, I'm just trying to close the game out. Alright, well, this should be good enough to win next turn on some pile or other after popping all the engineers. I don't think I have it in hand at the moment. I've got 5 games to work with. Let's lower sacrifices a bit. We'll pile up the sacrifices. If this game were closer, I would expect bishop to be kind of significant, because bishop is a way you can easily score on your mission turns without buying stuff. Just gain bishops, gain other 4-cost cards, and bishop them. Alright, killing 2 mills will get me the points lead. And then we can pop the engineers for all the sacrifices. Oh, this actually isn't quite the points lead, this is the points tie, isn't it? I was thinking of, oh, mill scores you 2 points. Mill scores you 1 point because you lose the mill, which was formerly worth a point. So let's not throw this game. Not that I would ever do that. Now I have enough for an estate. Yeah. I think the goal is get thin, do a bunch of mission stuff. Seems like the bot's big error here. It got the knight early, which is good. Left me having to get Dame Josephine. But I think you need engineer here, because engineer lets you continue building on your mission turn. I don't think that the bishop golden deck is going to score nearly enough. Because even if you, like, let's say you bought Sir Michael early, Sir Michael gets trashed, your opponent can't get a discard attack, and so they just can't interact with the golden deck at all. You're still scoring 5 points a turn that way. And the engine could definitely build up to playing a few bishops every turn, scoring 10 or 15. And the bishop deck isn't really lowering piles very much. So you have, you know, quite a long clock before the game ends, because the bishop golden deck is only lowering provinces 1 at a time for 5 points. And so eventually the engine is going to easily outpace that. You could get some camel trains, gain a bunch of golds, bishop those if you needed to. Yeah, that's the game.